I ran an experiment on Hinge as a female, and here's my conclusions on the photos from the guys I came across. So the experiment parameters were that I set up a female profile age 27 in the Bay Area for 1 week. The results were I got 400 likes overnight. After that, I literally couldn't count. I got like thousands in a week. It was impossible. I matched very, very selectively. It was literally hard to go through my match queue, all the people who were liking me, so I preferred simply to swipe myself, because if I swiped, I would usually get a match. And the algorithm would show me the best guys at the top of my deck instead of going through all the trash that was in my like queue. After a while, all the guys started blending together. There was just too many of them. I couldn't even differentiate them. And I simply had way too much choice as an attractive woman. So seeing all of this, I was trying to notice, like, because I'm getting so overwhelmed, who are the guys who I actually ended up talking to? What stood out about them? Because there were guys who I texted and was eager to exchange with and would have met up with had I been a woman. But yeah, it was very, very interesting. So let's look at a few different examples of guys I came across. Here's one sort of prototypical Bay Area guy, and that I come across in my audience as well, in my clientele. He's around like 42, 43. His bio said that he was like an AI startup CEO or had like a founder or something like that. You can tell he's like, on the little older side. A couple things I like is that he's pretty well dressed. He has a pretty nice haircut, and then it stops about there. Stops about there. Like, if I looked at his first photo, I'd be like, okay, cool, he's pretty well dressed. Second photo, quite nice as well. Pretty decent photography here. From there, it just goes downhill. I'm like, okay, dude, do you not have any other clothes other than black, shirts? Black shirt. Okay, selfie, mirror selfie, immediate, douche. Here, what is this? Like a professional photo taken in a parking lot? Like, what does this add any value to you? Are you, you're an AI starter found up, do you live in your mom's garage or something? Here, this doesn't look any nice at all. Here, this is just like, what, an attempt to show off that you live in like fancy buildings and stuff. Like, it's a really, I'd like to see you maybe in a cool hotel or in a cool restaurant or something, but I don't want to see you taking a photo of the thing that's supposed to be fancy. Furthermore, I don't see anything about your hobby or lifestyle. I just see photos of you looking at the camera, and unless you had like a Ryan Gosling type face or a six-pack, that's usually not gonna do it. It's usually not gonna do it. So this makes you look really immature as a 40-something-year-old. And it's like, where's your social life? Where's your hobbies? Where do you do anything fun with your life, right? I just see one dimension of this person who's actually pretty good looking and very well accomplished. But if they presented themselves well, it would be so much more interesting. They literally kill themselves with this poor photography and poor framing of themselves. So, here's a very successful guy who's just not looking the part at all. Here's another sort of stereotypical group that I work with a lot, which is kind of the recent grad, like 23, 24-year-old doing some kind of tech or software, really smart dudes who have decent social lives and hobbies and all of that. But let's take a look at this guy specifically. A tech worker, 23, 24, and I noticed, like, okay, it's a pretty good smile, dresses pretty nice. But then when we get here, it's like, okay, dude, really? Like, did you just take a, picture of a Friday night at Chili's? Again, decent smile, nice haircut, like a pretty good looking dude. Also, this does not paint him in a good light at all. It's like, you look like you have really goofy friends and you do really derpy things with your life. Had this been the only photo, I'd have been like, this guy seems pretty solid so far. But, there's some other subtleties that I want you to notice here. And there's something called sub-communications, or what I call sub-comms. That's your body language and your facial expressions. These account for so much, because confidence is nothing more than body language and your facial expressions. And in person, you can communicate that through your vibe. But through a photo, it's just a snapshot. So if you seem unconfident or awkward or feminine or weak in any photo, the girl's gonna think that you're like that all the time, right? And the subtleties here. For him specifically, it's this neck bend right here. This neck bend that's very girly. Girls do this. This is a sign when females are attracted, they open their neck because it's a sign of vulnerability. Men should not be doing this. Men should be standing tall, open chest, square face, and he has this very sort of like nice guy smile on in every photo. Now, there's nothing wrong with smiling, but you don't want to be doing that in every single photo, which makes you look like a really, really nice teddy bear. You want to have some sex appeal, some boldness, some smirk, some James Bond in you, right? You need a little bit of a mix of that. And then, you know, let's look at the backgrounds here. Like, this is a really nice professional photo, but here, you know, what are you doing on your apartment balcony? What value does this add to me understanding about you, right? This could be a picture of you doing a hobby. This could be a picture of you with your family or something. If you're going to include pictures of friends, make it seem like something cool, like a wedding, or you're doing some activity together, like you're snowboarding together or something like that. Not just sitting at anybody can go to a bar on a Friday night, right? This looks like a very, very average kid who just kind of graduated college. Doesn't stand out in any particular way, but you definitely could. Here's another demographic that I work with quite often, is kind of the guy from India or from China who moved here as a tech worker and is in his, you know, mid-20s, mid-late 20s, and maybe isn't completely blended into the American culture yet, but you know, he's out there dating. And so let's take a look, man. Again, this guy's not bad looking at all. He's pretty good looking, good facial hair, good hair. Kind of stops there. His fashion is all over the place. Doesn't look good in any photo at all. You know, why are you taking a photo with a fence? You know, you could be taking a photo with a cool background, like a city backdrop, or like a nice hotel, or a bridge, or something that looks nice, but like you chose a fence. This makes it look like you hang out in your backyard for fun. You know, here I can't even tell which one you are. I think it's this guy right here, but he looks slightly different. But again, you know, if you're gonna choose a social photo, don't choose a derpy photo with your friends, all right? Choose a wedding photo, choose a family photo that makes you look good. Choose a photo where you're the leader of some kind of group. Choose a photo where it makes you look good, and not like you have like a really derpy group of friends who like to drink, you know, in the corner on Friday nights. You know, this is cool. This is really cool that you do ATVs, but the photo itself is very poor. Like, the lighting's bad, the colors are bad, your facial expression looks really creepy here. It's like, this could be a really fun photo. This could be a really cool photo, but it's just presented wrong. It doesn't look fun at all. It looks kind of creepy, to be honest. And because there's no people anywhere. This also looks really creepy. You know, I'm sure this place is really cool, but he's standing here like with this hunched body language, really far away, can't see his face, and the background's all gray and stuff. Like, you know, maybe if he edited it a little bit, or if the day was a little bit sunnier, it would look cooler and more adventurous. You know, this is actually, he's quite nice smile, good body language here, but none of these girls want to be going out with a recent grad. It makes you look super young and super immature. Like, as soon as you graduated, erase everything off your dating profile about college. No, you don't want any association with that. Again, this is a guy with a lot of potential, just completely wasting it because of the lack of the presentation. Okay, and here in a second, I'm going to be showing you some examples of guys who actually do it right that I saw on the apps, and of my own clients, and the difference, you know, before and after. So here's a guy whose profile I really love. I think he's like 29 or something. I mean, he's quite a good looking dude. You can tell that he works out, but also he's taking care of his fashion. His hair is on point. Like, he has put a work into his appearance. That's really awesome. I see a diversity of, you know, activities going on, right? Like a wedding, boats, dogs, hanging out at a restaurant, right? That's fantastic. You know, he has a good social photo where he's like, like, it's not him drunk on a Friday night with some derpy looking friends, right? He has really great, you know, pet photo here. He's showing off different sides of him, different aspects of him. He has different facial expressions, you know, kind of a more smirky, sexy look, and then also some more smiling, some more just genuine. So this, and no photo is bad, right? In dating profiles, you don't want to have any one photo that stands out as like being the deal breaker that like kills it. You want all 6 photos to be consistent and good. So this is a really, really good one. Here's another really good one, an Indian guy. Again, like, okay, this is a cool photo, right? You're in a pool in Shanghai with a cool background. Like, let's compare this photo to, you know, this photo, right? This guy could easily get that same photo, but he's standing in his backyard. Whereas this guy, okay, that's like really cool. Cool wedding photo, awesome. Same here, also a wedding photo. This one has implied social proof. This one has actual social proof. Both are really good. This one right here is epic, shows that he's athletic, he's active. This one right here is really cool too because he's active, he's adventurous. He seems like a really fun, adventurous dude. And this one's just kind of okay. It's just kind of a placeholder. He could actually do way better with this last photo, but it kind of shows his outdoorsy side. The one complaint I have with him is that he's really nice in all his photos. Like he just looks like super happy and like happy-go-lucky, right? There's no sexy, there's no edge, there's no mystery, there's none of that, you know, male dominance in there, that sex appeal, right? If he had just one photo, kind of like this guy, like this, oof, man, he would kill it even more. But this is a pretty good profile. This is what I noticed in my swiping behavior during the experiment, was that the first photo determines whether I look at even the rest of the profile or not. So the first one's got to be attention catching. My max queue got so long that I preferred swiping myself instead. Like I didn't want to go through the likes because there's just too many thousands, but I preferred to just swipe myself, and I would get matches. And the people who would be shown at the top of the queue are usually really high value dudes who like are being shown to the top of the queue of other women as well. As soon as I spotted one bad photo, I was turned off, out, I'm gone, right? Because, you know, you have no room for error. I have so many choices that like as soon as one bad photo came up, I was like, boom, next. And then if all the photos were one dimensional, I was turned off, right? We looked at a couple of guys who all the photos looked the same. It's like, dude, what do you do with your life? What's going on in your life besides you standing in front of a camera, right? The 6 photos are a chance for you to show 6 different angles of you and your life. Use them. Here's my biggest takeaways. Again, to repeat, even one bad photo disqualified the guys. If they had good photos, I was way more likely to respond to their texts, even if their texts weren't that good. Right? The profile does 90% of the heavy lifting. Very few guys pay attention to subcommunications, body language, facial expressions. They don't notice if their neck is tilted like that. They don't notice if their shoulders are slightly in. They don't notice if their face looks awkward or stern or stiff, right? They don't know how to come across confident. This is interesting. Shorter guys with better profiles are more attractive than taller guys with worse profiles. Shorter guys with better profiles, I was like, dang, this guy's a lot going on for him. Like, that's awesome. And if he was taller, over 6 foot, but had one-dimensional photos, I was like, yeah, nope, I'm not going on that date. Telling a story and showing multiple angles is very important. Again, you have 6 pieces of real estate. Use them all, maximize them all, which is exactly what I do in my program with my clients, is we take every aspect of their life possible and squeeze it into those 6 pieces of real estate so they just show everything. How do you stand out as an Asian guy? At the end of this experiment, I asked myself, okay, what are the things that these guys did well that most of the guys didn't do well? And, you know, here's some examples from my clients of how you can stand out as an Asian guy. Things to highlight aside from height and race, because that's not in our control. Okay, fashion is one, subcommunications, lifestyle, accomplishments, and characteristic traits. You know, for my client Luke here, fashion on point. Right? Really good, well-fitting, matching clothes. Subcommunications on point. You know, sitting up tall, straight, open body language, leaning back, right? Has some sexy going on here, has some genuine going on here. Very confident looking. Lifestyle, you know, speaks for itself. Different characteristic traits, right? He's funny, he's adventurous, he hosts events, right? That's a very leadership characteristic trait. He's protective, has a soft side, right? This is a very complete dating profile. Subcommunications, this is some bad subcoms, by the way. Tense body and face, right? Look how tense his body is, and his face is very stern. Dainty arms and wrist. This little dainty wrist motion right here, this is very girly. And look, he does the same thing with his neck opening up here. That's very girly, so not attractive. Opening the neck and just kind of looking awkward, right? You know, with his friends and stuff, this looks kind of awkward too. All of this, girls notice. Girls notice this like that, right? Let's see the same guy, but with good subcommunications, right? Body language, open, lean back, relax, dominant. Poof. Oh, whoa, this guy's sexy, all right? Open body language, leaning back. In no picture here does he look girly. Facial expressions, smirk, smile in action, right? He's like in action doing stuff. He's smiling in his photos, looks really confident, looks on top of his shit. Massive difference from this guy right here. Having a masculine edge really helps Asian guys because most Asian guys come across way too feminine and nice. And, you know, facial expressions and body language is one way to do that. Fashion is another way to do that. Masculine hobbies helps a lot. So this is a guy who doesn't have that, okay? You know, looks really boyish, childish here. Same thing here, kind of feminine here. This actually is pretty cool. It looks quite masculine here, but it just gets destroyed by the other photos. And then this one, he's trying to do a masculine hobby, but it doesn't come across at all. It just looks, you know, really low quality. Let's look at the same guy later, okay? Fashion on point, okay? Very masculine. Look at this posture. Look at this position. Look at his face. Very, very straight, direct, bold. Great fashion all across the board, doing masculine hobbies. The way he's standing, the way he's walking, the way he's dressed. All of a sudden, this guy has sex appeal compared to this guy. Does this guy have any sex appeal? I don't know. Okay, this will help you massively. Each photo should show off a different side of you, okay? Including mostly your lifestyle and characteristic traits. This is my client, John. And look at this, like the first photo is just meant to show your face and your body and what you look like. But after that, every single photo is showing a different aspect of his life and his characteristic traits, right? He's a leader, he's adventurous and athletic. He has this fun, playful side. He knows how to dance. That also means a leader. That's a very sexy trait, right? He knows how to fight. He's protective. He's, you know, risk-taking and bold, right? Compare this to, let's say if John only had one aspect of him that he was showing off, right? And that's here. These are some other photos of him. Imagine this was his dating profile. I mean, he's well-dressed, but he'd look like an absolute douche who just like has the same photos, wearing the same clothes, trying to like look cool. This is not the same John at all, right? This is, again, the same guy, but this version of John is so much more attractive. You want to have 6 good photos without even one bad one. One bad photo will tank your entire profile. You're only as strong as your weakest link. So here's my, you know, profile, for example, one of my versions of my profiles. And if I were to insert one bad photo at the end, it would ruin the whole thing. Like, look, successful, well-dressed guy. Okay, looks cool. He does photography, really nicely dressed, sex appeal, adventurous, traveling, giving speeches, and what the hell is he doing here? So derpy, so what is he even doing? Why is he dressed like that? The photo quality's bad. Done, gone, right? You want your photos to be pristine, and so, you know, I've given you some pointers on what are good photos and what are bad photos. But what helps my clients the most is that I'm over their shoulders telling them exactly which ones to choose so that these 6 pieces of real estate are perfect. There's not one photo that kills your chances. So to wrap up this experiment, these are all the things that I learned. These are some examples that can hopefully help you. And if you want my direct help with your dating profile so you can get into a long-term relationship, then use the link below, book in a call. We'll talk one-on-one about whether my program is a good fit for you. And if you're not really sure what it is I teach or what my program is all about, then check out the main video on my YouTube channel. It'll take you through all the steps, the main pillars that I teach and how I teach them, some of the results that clients have gotten. That way you can actually familiarize yourself with my teachings and decide for yourself if you want to apply. All right, so hopefully that was valuable for you. I'm making 2 more videos about the bios that I saw during this experiment and the texting that I saw during this experiment. So stay tuned and hope you enjoy the next videos as well.